Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to this. Today, I have had a bit of a download that I wanted to talk about, or I feel like someone needs to hear this message about self-love, creating more abundance, creating more alignment in your life. And sometimes it can feel like we have everything we need, but innately we have this desire to achieve more. Like it's almost like as if we start recognizing that the patterns in our life keep repeating. And a clear sign that that is happening is two things. Either you've hit the ceiling or you've hit the floor. So there's two places where our money blocks can show up. The first is when we feel like we've hit the ceiling. And this looks like when you're in a repeated cycle, and no matter how much you earn, no matter how much you can save, no matter how much you're investing right now, you always feel like there's a plateau. You always feel like you reach a certain number or you reach a certain place and you cycle back round. So, for example, you come into money and all of a sudden the boiler breaks down or the car breaks down. And something, for some reason, unbeknown to you, that money ends up disappearing in some way. And what ends up happening is our bank balances or our income stays at a certain level. And this is a clear sign if you are plateauing, if you are in a feast to famine cycle, if you feel like you've reached this point where things have stabilized, but internally you feel like you're meant for more and you feel like there's something else that you should be achieving, you have to follow that instinct. You have to follow that desire. And in Kabbalistic spirituality, which is a modality that I bring into a lot of the financial coaching work that I do, is that we all have this innate desire, right? There are some things that are just the human experience. We all want more love. We all want more abundance. We all want more freedom. We all want more time, right? There are certain things which are very innate. We all want more clients if you're in business, right? Maybe you're employed and you want career progression. We all have an innate desire for something. And in Kabbalistic terms, this desire is called a vessel. And I'm actually just going to read you something right now because I feel called to read this. But in the language of Kabbalah, desire is referred to as a vessel. A vessel is like an empty cup that seeks to be filled. Unlike an empty cup, however, the vessel of our desires is not anything physical. Now, if you can remember a time where you're at the buffet and you've eaten everything at the buffet and you feel like you're absolutely full, your stomach is so full, you feel like you can't eat anymore. And all of a sudden, the dessert cart reels out, yeah, it comes out to your table, and you're like, oh, there's some cheesecake, there's some chocolate cake. And all of a sudden, you feel like you have space for more. Even though you're completely full, you feel like there's space for more. And your stomach has hit the limit, but your desire is unlimited. Your desire to eat more is unlimited. And so every action in this physical world is directed by an urge, whether that's something really big and really obvious or something really subtle and really small. It's that yearning to be fulfilled. And it can feel as though we have no free will in the moment, right? It can feel like things are supposed to be this way. But actually what's happening is you're playing small. And we drive life on this autopilot, right? We're driven by this constant need to nourish all the longings that linger in our body and in our soul. And that comes from the Power of Kabbalah book. And that just introduces this concept of the desire. And so what happens is when we're at this place where we feel like we've plateaued, the other I mentioned is that you might have hit the floor. When you hit the floor, you feel like you have nothing, like as if you're it's at the opposite end of the spectrum. So you're still in that cycle, but let's say the debt keeps coming at a certain level, or you're attracting clients that aren't paying the level that you're at, the value that you actually give out to them. And so you're undercharging or under delivering. So it can show up in both ways that we feel like we've hit the ceiling, we're ready for more expansion, or we've hit the floor and we just cannot tolerate it anymore. And until things get to the point where you say to yourself, I cannot tolerate this anymore, I am made for more, you will stay stuck in that cycle. You will stay stuck in that cycle where you've either hit rock bottom or you've hit the ceiling. And so, in order to move through that definition of the vessel that I just gave you, it's about expanding our vessel. And so, how do we do that? We need to remove all of those finances from our lives that are not aligned with where we want to get to. If you're buying things online, on Amazon or M&S or JD Sports or John Lewis or wherever, right? And you feel like you're spending all this frivolous money, you're finding ways to get rid of that money that's not in true alignment with who you were meant to be. And one of the very first exercises that I get people to do when working with me is looking at a budget, getting really clear. And you can do this yourselves. Have a look at all of your expenses. And there's something called a traffic light system where you go through all of your expenses and you highlight anything in green that feels good. You highlight anything in orange that feels okay. And you highlight anything in red that just does not feel aligned with your calling. And this is a very easy and clear way of getting clarity around where your spending is going and if it's aligned with what it is that you actually want to achieve. Because there are ways that we can be leveraging our money into that wealth expansion. So, for example, investing is a very good example of that. And that might be investing in the form of ourselves and taking a program or a course that's going to help us expand. It might be investing in the stock market or investing in property, right? A way to expand our money so it compounds and grows. Or it might be investing in ourselves, it might be investing in the markets, it might be investing in ourselves in ways that we haven't even experienced yet. And by doing that, what we're doing is we're creating a larger vessel. And what instantly happens is when we step into this, we can start to feel a bit empty because we've expanded our desire, but we haven't filled our cup yet. And so we feel like we have more to give, which is perfectly normal and perfectly natural because money is flow, money is energy. It's not destroyed. And that wealth is meant for you, but if you're not ready to receive it yet, it might be that someone else is holding that money on your behalf until you're ready to receive it. And then someone just said to me, I don't know what more I need to do. I don't know what more I need to do. And if you're asking yourself this question, you're asking yourself the wrong question. The real question is, who do I need to become? Life is not always about doing more. This is the masculine energy of doing. And we all have inside of us masculine and feminine energies. But the way that business is run often in this world and in this lifetime is that we are told that we need to do more. We need to do more outreach. We need to post more. Whereas actually the feminine energy is stepping back into ourselves and giving more so that we have capacity to receive and hold more. And that is where we experience the expansion that was meant for us. And if you're feeling this urge deep down inside of you and you're not quite sure what it looks like, and it's like, where is this feeling even come from? Right? It's because you're now noticing these patterns that have been happening in your life on repeat, potentially even for all of your life. And maybe not even all of your life. It might have been in previous lifetimes. And until you step into this, until you look into this sense of curiosity of like, why is this happening? What is this happening? Why is this happening for me, not to me? Why is this happening for me? Because everything is a lesson. Everything is here to teach us something so that we can reach our higher selves. And the more we ignore it, the more we push it to the side, the more it's going to show up in our lives in different ways. So a good example of this is when we start experiencing the same patterns. So, for example, you're someone who is financially independent, but sometimes you need to borrow money from other people, and that might be a parent, that might be from friends, it might be from support in other ways. And so you might find, even though your business is successful, you always get to a point where you feel like you need to borrow in order to make ends meet. And so this is a recurring cycle that often happens. And it can be really deep rooted in our sense of self and our sense of self-love. And one thing that I often notice is that you might see this reflected in your current partner or in a partner that you haven't met yet. Because the world is a reflection, our outer world is a reflection of our inner selves. And something I often hear is, oh, my partner's spending too much money. My partner won't understand if I go through this level of expansion. And actually, our partner or our future partner that we haven't met yet is a reflection of how we're feeling about ourselves. It's the immediate people around us are going to notice that energy, and we are going to notice our energy reflected back in them. And so it's very easy for us to take on other people's beliefs about money because we're operating at that same level. And if your soulmate hasn't emerged yet, if they haven't come into your life there, just know that they are here. They are here with you. They are on their way to you. You just have to become the person to receive all of that love, to have the vessel that's going to be able to receive all of this love that you truly desire. They are always there, and money is intrinsically linked to love, to self-love, because of this innate nature of the vessel and the desire that we all have to achieve more and to be the greatest that we can be in this lifetime. So I'm not sure who needed to hear this right now, but I hope that it speaks to someone. I've spoken about expanding our vessel. I've spoken about looking at, or being able to identify in ourselves when we've either reached the ceiling or we've reached the floor. And when that is the perfect opportunity to start leaning in with some sense of curiosity about how we can start expanding ourselves so that we can reach that next level, which was always meant for us. And if you're telling yourself, I'm not really sure if this was meant for me, just know that if you're getting this intuitive, you know the difference between seeing something online and being like, oh, I want to take action, or something coming to you internally. And it's almost like you can't shake this thing because it's always coming to you, it's always playing on your mind. I've had this feeling before where I've been pushed to make a phone call, where I've been pushed to do something because innately I felt like actually there's something that I need to do here. There's something that I need to learn. Maybe it falls in my favor and maybe it doesn't. But whatever the outcome, there is no right or wrong. It's just pointing us in the right direction of where we need to move. So if you've felt this energy recently, there are shifts happening, right? And so it's perfectly normal to be feeling in this place where you're ready for this expansion, but it feels like there's like a missing piece. And so this missing piece often is this energy of love, this energy of self-love, which by definition will follow with abundance, will follow with more ease, will follow with more grace, will follow with more money. And it's just about getting aligned about what we're going to do with this money, how we're going to spend this money, how we're going to help support other people with this money, but most importantly, how you feel most fulfilled in this life. So I hope this ramble has spoken to someone out there. I really felt this download and this calling to share this with you today. But if you do have any questions on this, if you're curious to learn more, then I'm always here to help and support you and help shine the light on what needs to be shined so that you can expand into your next level. So until next time, I'll speak to you very soon. Have a great day.